Good day.
So, how am I doing so far?
Well, someone asked me how to deal with a revenant, but no one is worried enough to part with any coin. No one in Ledechko would eat a single egg, even if they had any, because all the hens are hexed.
Well, at least they've got fuel for their fires. That's still not enough, is it?
There's still a long way to go. Goodbye.
About that recipe.
Yes, you want to buy it?
What's the recipe for that potion you were talking about?
You mean for coloring the water? Ah, well...
Well,
Pay close attention now.
I'm all ears.
How love turned to bloodshed. Once there was a knight who, though upright and noble-looking, had a prickly, unapproachable appearance. He fell in love with a fragile young maid, whom he saw with her sisters in a field, all wearing bright red wimples. But he was afraid his prickly exterior would frighten her. So he asked the advice of another knight, a pious and learned crusader, who carried the name of the patron saint of his order with pride. The pious knight told him he would arrange a rendezvous with the maid. All three would drink wine together by the river, and he would help his friend to get acquainted with her. This they did, but the maid fell in love instead with the pious knight. The stern knight was enraged and challenged his rival to a duel. The two fought long and fiercely, but they were equally matched, and so, in the end, they both fell mortally wounded, anguished at the tragedy her beauty had caused. The young maid took a dagger from one of the knights and plunged it into her own heart. Their bodies lay together on the ground, and the blood flowed from them into the river, turning the waters crimson.
I thought you were going to tell me the recipe, not some fable.
It is the recipe. I mean, the recipe is concealed in the story.
What on earth for?
So I don't forget it.
All right. So what does it mean?
I can't remember.
Great. So if you don't know, who does?
You'll figure it out, my loyal apprentice. I remember there are 3 plants in the story, but that's about all. But I know it was a simple recipe. It should be enough to grind the ingredients and brew them together for one turn. So, all you have to do is work out what the ingredients are from the story.
Sure. Why make things simple if you can complicate them? What's the recipe for that?
Pay close attention.
I'm all ears.
How love turned to bloodshed. Once there was a knight who, though upright and noble-looking, had a prickly, unapproachable appearance. He fell in love with a fragile young maid, whom he saw with her sisters in a field, all wearing bright red wimples. But he was afraid his prickly exterior would frighten her. The pious knight told him he would arrange a rendezvous with the maid. This they did. Goodbye. Wine squeezed from grapes, cultivated from a rose.
you don't live in the village, maybe up at the mill or with the charcoal burners.
Christ, no good will come of that. Bringing strange women into the village from God knows where.
My very words. The neighbours are missing 2 hens already.
Could have been a weasel.
Or that weasel of a woman. Who knows what she's like? For all anyone knows, she might be some wild woman of the woods.
Ha! Not likely. We've already got all the wild woodland women at home ourselves. Oh, excepting Vashek.
Good men,
He's got a
good
she-dragon.
Come closer. Poor or rich, or...
Would you teach me more about alchemy?
Me teach you? See you later.
What's the recipe?
Pick close.
I'm all ears.
How once there was a knight who, though upright and noble-looking, had a prickly, unapproachable appearance. He fell in love with a fragile young maid, whom he saw with her sisters in a field, all wearing bright red wimples. But he was afraid his prickly exterior would frighten her. So he asked the advice of another knight, a pious and learned crusader, who carried the name of the patron saint of his order with pride. The pious knight told him he would arrange a rendezvous. See you later. How are you, Henry?
God be with you.
Take care.
I feel quite hungry. Yeah. 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 That's There were chickens, for sure. I can't put this there. The butcher will know right away it's not the same meat.
What are you doing here? Are you after something?
Magical elixirs and amulets. God be with you.
So, how am I doing so far?
Good work, Henry. The whole village is shaking in its boots. Soon people won't step outside the door without saying 3 Hail Marys.
Ugh, I'm glad to hear it. I'm beginning to feel haunted myself.
The baths are closed. No one will tell you why, but everyone is clearly frightened. Half the village is without rosaries. Someone even wanted to buy one from me.
And did you sell it?
I don't trade in such banal goods. But I sold him a cat's paw.
I didn't know a cat's paw was good for warding off revenants.
Henry, all the goods I have are good for warding off revenants.
So, the job is done, eh?
Not quite.
But you just said the whole village is shaking with fear.
The whole village, but for one individual.
Well, surely that doesn't matter.
That's what I thought too. Only this fellow is giving everyone the benefit of his wisdom. He needs shaking up before he undoes your good work.
But if he's not been scared yet, what more can I do to frighten him?
Well, when he's not hanging around here ruining my trade, he's in the tavern boasting that he'd happily sleep by that empty grave to prove there's no revenant.
Yeah, I bet he would.
Exactly. He just needs a little persuasion. And once he's there, make it the most terrifying night of his life.
Well, what are we waiting for then?
It's best to be well prepared. You ought to find out something about him, so there's no surprises.
The gossip woman?
Naturally. And Henry, before we get to that grave, you can still try and come up with more ways to frighten the villagers. The more terrified they are, the more groschen there'll be in it for me. For us, that is. Good luck, then. Rare merchandise from all over the world.
God bless. See you later.
Henry. What? What the?
So, how am I doing so far?
I already told you, Henry. everyone is scared out of their wits.
I know. I was just wondering if anything had changed.
I haven't heard anything new.
Uh-huh. All right.
Good luck, then.
Thief! Thief! You're not getting away from me! Shit! Leave me be! You showed him. Thank you, that thieving magpie. You can't trust anyone these days. Ahem. And just so you know, I'm no pinch purse. Here's a small reward.
Thanks.
Hey!
And hurry up, I've no patience for beggars.
Good wife.
You're still here, lad? I thought you'd have fled by now.
Fled? Why on earth would I do that?
Because there's a revenant on the prowl. The whole village is talking about it, and everyone is terrified.
Ah, that. But I heard there's one brave lad who's not afraid.
You mean Felix?
Well, I don't know what his name is, but he's always arguing in the tavern that there's no revenant.
That's him. The fool doesn't believe what's going on under his own nose. He hasn't the sense he was born with.
Is he brave or just stupid? Surely he's afraid of something.
I couldn't tell you. But if he's to be believed, he doesn't fear the devil himself.
And do you believe him?
Well, it's true he never seems bothered by anything. But then he's always with that other pair.
What pair?
2 mates of his.
But he was alone in the tavern.
Aye, they're not locals, but outside the village, wherever he goes, they go with him.
He even said he'd spend the night at the graveside, just to prove there's no revenant.
Aye, all talk and no action.
Who are these 2 fellas?
They're not bad lads, but they're no heroes, that's for sure.
How's that?
Them 2 have their fears, but then who doesn't?
What are they afraid of?
The first one wouldn't even go into the woods alone, because he's afraid of wild animals.
Ah, is that so? I wonder why.
He got lost in the forest as a young lad, and he wasn't found till next morning. Shaking and pale as a ghost he was when they found him.
A village boy? Scared of the woods?
You're not very smart, are you?
Why'd you say that?
Oh, never mind.
What about the other one?
He's afraid of fire.
Why?
His own father burned him, God forgive him. As a young lad, he was playing with fire and nearly set fire to the house. So his pa taught him a lesson he wouldn't forget.
Poor lad. That's a terrible way to teach a child.
My words, exactly.
Ah, it's been an interesting chat. Thanks, good wife.
Good luck, then.
and get a move on, because you really don't smell good. God be with you.
God save. Take care.
Oh, it's you.
So, how am I doing so far?
Henry, a corpse was found.
What? Where?
Here in Ledechko. The whole village is in a flap over it.
Well, what happened?
One of the locals was killed.
I see. Does anyone know who did it?
No one saw or heard a thing. People are terrified. They think it's the work of the Revenant.
Well, that's convenient, though, isn't it?
It is, but it certainly doesn't give me any joy. I hope you didn't have anything to do with it.
Of course not. What do you take me for?
I don't know whether to believe you or not.
Come on. Do you take me for some cutthroat? My own parents were killed, and I wouldn't wish that loss on anyone.
Of course. Sorry, I shouldn't have doubted you.
That's all right. So all the villagers are frightened?
They certainly are.
Good. The more frightened they are, the better. Maybe then you'll sell lots of remedies, and maybe you'll share some of the profits with your loyal apprentice.
Maybe.
So, how am I doing so far?
I already told you, Henry. Everyone is scared out of their wits.
I know. I was just wondering if anything had changed.
Uh-huh. See you later.
lamb. And I'll need lots of it if I'm to switch it all. Just lamb now. I need to switch the lamb.
What are you here for? Goodbye.
Hang on, this is venison. From roe deer. No wonder it's under lock and key. Yeah. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, good men and good wives, come closer. Poor or rich, old or young, there's something.
It's roe deer venison for sure.
At the miraculous items on offer today for a fraction of their true value.
Ah, it's you.
So, how am I doing so far?
I already told you, Henry. Everyone is scared out of their wits.
I know. I was just wondering if anything had changed.
Well, everyone is talking about how all the butcher's meat went off after being touched by the hand of evil.
What, does this look like the hand of evil to you? Good. The more frightened they are, the better. Maybe then you'll sell lots of remedies, and maybe you'll share some of the profits with your loyal apprentice.
Maybe.
So, how am I doing so?
I already told you, Henry.
I know.
Uh-huh.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
That Sigismund is and brigands are like weeds.
Huh?
Burn 'em down and
Damn.
sprout up some
Why are you waking me?
That's not the half of it.
This brave fella, Felix his name is, if we can get him to spend the night at the grave, he won't be alone. Wherever he goes, he always has two mates tagging along.
Like he's afraid to be alone.
Could be.
So, if we could get him there alone, it shouldn't be too hard to scare him.
Well, maybe, maybe not. He claims he's not afraid of anything.
That's easy to say. I'm not so sure. Only, we have to get rid of the other two. What do you know about them?
One of them is afraid of wild animals. Won't even go into the woods on his own.
I see. And the other one?
Well, he's afraid of fire, but I doubt an ordinary campfire would do the trick.
Well, we'll think of something. Anyway, you take care of the first one.
How, though?
Haven't you learned anything from me? Talk to a dog.
Of course. Why didn't I think of that? Any particular one, Master?
The most frightening one, of course.
And how am I supposed to recognise him? One looks the same as another.
By his bark, naturally. Can't you hear him? He'd scare the wits out of anyone.
That's a dog.
Either that or Satan in the guise of a beast.
All right. And what do I do with him?
Have a conversation with him and see if you can mimic his bark.
Yeah, great idea. People will think I'm barking mad.
Goodbye.